Hi friends, welcome to codewithsugi YouTube channel. This is the continuation video of exceptions in Java. So in the previous video, we have discussed about what is meant by exception, what is the keyword which we are using for exceptions, and what is the hierarchy which exception is following in Java. So before we get into this video, if you are new to our channel and if you are not aware of what we have discussed till date, so you don't need to worry. We always used to add all the links in the description. So please go ahead and have a look on the previous video. Now let's get into this video. Now we need to see really when this term exception will come into picture. So for that, we're going to see an example. We have a program. Okay. This program will get two values from end user. Let's we say a comma b, and it's going to divide a by b. Then it's going to print the values. Fine. Now the first user entered the value 10 comma 2. Then he get the output as 5. Then the next customer, he entered a value as 10 but the b value as 0. At this point of time, our program will not aware how to perform a number divided by 0, because in normal math, if we divide a number by 0, then we will get the value as undefined, right? So now our program is not aware of how to handle this scenario. At this point of time, these exceptions will come into picture because the user didn't follow the exact rule. He violated the rule and he provided the value b as 0. When it goes for this line, obviously here the 10 divided by 0 will not give the valid answer. So at this point of time, JVM will raise an exception. So the JVM will aware of if a number divided by 0, then it will raise an exception called arithmetic exception. And in the previous video, we discussed about the arithmetic exception, right? So the arithmetic exception will come under the unchecked exceptions, because JVM only identify these exceptions whenever it runs the program. Okay, whenever we're trying to run a program, at the time only we can able to identify these kind of exceptions. That's the reason we used to say these kind of exceptions are unchecked exceptions or runtime exceptions. What will happen if an user provide 10 by 0? It will come to this point, then the JVM will raise the exception and the JVM will stop the execution. It will not continue the execution after this line. So if an exception is not handled, then the JVM will stop that execution and it will come out of the program. So to avoid this situation, we are having a concept called exception handling in Java. Now I hope you have little bit idea about what is the main use of exceptions handling in Java. So as discussed, if an exception happened in this line, if a customer enters value like this, then the exception will happen in this line. Okay, this is what we discussed in the previous slide, right? So now, say for example, if the exception happened, then what the JVM will do, it will exit the program. So let's consider after this line of code, we have few other important line of code which needs to run to complete this program. But due to this value, the JVM raised an exception and it stopped the program execution. So to avoid this situation, we have a concept called exception handling. Now let's see how to use the exception handling in Java. So we have to use try block and then we have to catch the exception object over here. Then if something went wrong on certain line of code and you are expecting some exception, then it will come to this catch block and whatever statement you are having it here, it will execute it for you. then it will continue the remaining line. Though you got an exception, it will not stop your execution. It will go to the catch and it will handle that exception, then it will continue the remaining line of code. Okay, that is the beauty of try catch block or exception handling in Java. So here you should have the code which may raise an exception. Say for example, in our case, as a programmer, I'm feeling that this is the code may raise an exception if the user gives the invalid data. Okay, then I'm making it in the try. Then I'm asking the JVM to try this. If any exception happened, then you can come to this catch block and you can run this certain line of code to correct it, or you can give a message to the user, hey, you have entered a wrong value, so please correct it. Like that, you can provide a message here, and then the remaining line of code will get executed successfully, and the JVM will end the program at the end of the program. This is the main use of the exception handling in Java. In the previous video, I have mentioned about exception class. So here exception is a class, and the base class for the exception will be throwable, and the base class for the throwable will be object. And it will have two types of exceptions. One is checked and another one is unchecked. Right? All those things we have discussed earlier. So in the catch, you can specify the subclasses and then you can specify the base class. There are few more things which we need to discuss about try and catch. Okay, all those things we will discuss in the upcoming videos with some examples, so that you can easily understand when we need to use an exception, or when we need to use the arithmetic, or how to use arithmetic and exception, and how many catches we can use in a single program, or how many try we can use. All those things we gonna try in a real-time program, and we will see what are all the possible ways you can use try and catch. And there are few more keywords, that is throw, and then throws, and then finally. So all these three keywords we will see with few examples, then only you can easily understand it. Okay, I hope now you have some idea about how to handle the exception, or when the exception will happen in a program. Still, if you guys have any doubt in this, then please feel free to put your comments in the comment section, so that we will have a look and we will try to revert back as soon as possible. Thanks for watching our videos. Please subscribe our channel for more videos like this. Keep supporting us. Thank you.